Okay, so this video is going to be about a simple all clicks included guide of what I do for Japan to take out France early game. And it's my standard Japan start. This will be pretty much what I do every game whenever I'm playing as Japan in order to get a good game going for them. Okay, so that's the industry. First important thing is join Axis day 1. We'll look at the other stuff. Start 15. Put them on guns. Next we'll go into here. We're going to start with trucks. We'll do start with trucks. Take one off guns, just to get trucks going. First focus, purge. Focus tree is going to be purge, guide, national mob, army for the experience, and then we'll get the military factors in the research slot while the war is going on. So you have starting army, 60 troops. Starting fleet is pretty big. Gather it all up. Put it in the reserve fleet just to make it easier to move. We will build a spy agency to help us out. Imports, it's only rubber, that's fine. The fleet, we'll construct the whole thing, we'll finish it up. We'll only build one carrier. We'll construct everything in there. And then once it finishes with the dockyards, we start with 14. So we'll switch those over to just producing subs and convoys. So what do we got? Yeah, this is the cheap one. So put 10 on that and 4 on convoys for the starting 14 that we got. That's the standard start for now. Okay, join the Axis. We are going to transfer all of the troops now over to Germany. We're going to transfer the entire fleet up into one fleet, and we'll adjust it once they get over to Germany. And you will grab all the airplanes, so you will shift and click all the ones that are not on carriers and drag them over to Germany. You can tell if they're on a carrier because of that symbol there, and that'll tell you exactly which carrier they're on. These are all just inland bases, and you can grab them all. Oh, missed one. Grab that. And you'll throw them down here, or any airport, honestly. Throw them here in Munich. And this will bring all the planes over there. All your ships are coming over to the port, and all your troops are coming to this fallback line. So now we'll fast forward until we get enough political power. So we need 39 political power. See, political power to declare war on France, which we'll do once that happens. So we're going to fast forward till we get to 39. And there's not much while this is going on. Troops are moving. Ships are moving. It's ticking. This is the boring part where you just wait for everything to move over. There's nothing really to do. Waiting for the agency to go. You have the decisions where you could prioritize, but we're not touching that because we need the political power. Okay, so our agency, normally I would go straight for the localized training centers and the foreign departments, mainly because you're going to want the cryptology department for England and the localized training center for Russian spies. So we're going to start with the Russian spies just because that goes on the longer cooldowns. Next we'll go for the cryptology for England. Okay, planes are here, ships are here. Okay, so let's focus on the Navy real quick. Let's merge the entire fleet by hitting G. That's the default for merging everything up. You can see we have all our capital ships, we have our screens with the destroyers, we have 52 subs. So we're going to scroll down to the bottom. Subs are always going to be at the bottom. Double click on those subs, shift double click on those to grab them, and double click on these 4 and separate them. So now you have all 52 subs, so you have your surface fleet and your sub fleet. You want to have your sub fleet in a different fleet than the surface one due to the positioning of the ships. Always assign your admiral, and then for subs you're going to want to put on the Seawolf. I personally like to train these guys, so shift K or shift click. This will train them to level 3. Once they hit level 3 they'll stop training, so these guys won't train but these ones will. And do the same thing with these guys, and you can see that it's got this cancel mark on the cog. That means it will stop. We have plenty of oil to take care of that. While that's going, we'll also clean up the air fleets. So I personally like to move these into air fleets of 50. And 50. So that'll keep some spare planes. You can move these ones down to 50 as well. These ones down to 50 as well. These are slightly different. These are your carrier ones that were on land when they occurred. We'll move this up to 100. Move this up to 100. We will delete this one just for the spare planes. Move this down to 50. We'll delete this one. Move this down to 50. Move this up to 50 and delete this one. And now, once this all goes up, this will be the air fleet of perfect 600. If you notice, most of Germany's airports are in denominations of 600. So you get 600, 1200, 1200, 600, 600. It makes them easier to move them around. This one's also a 600. So it's just much easier to move these planes around when you have just the 600 spare planes. Okay. So now let's keep going with getting everything set up for this. I don't want to, normally I would exercise these, but we don't have that many spare planes as Japan. You can check that over here. So we only have 11 of these, 29 of these, 12 of the regular close air supports, 34 spare fighters, 22 regular fighters. It's not much spares, so I don't want to lose any in the training accidents that occur when you do train. So we're training up our troops. Is the army here yet? Army is not here yet. Okay. Once they get to Germany, we'll break them up into the groups we're looking for. Main groups. We can't recruit Europe yet, so we'll just grab a spy. Put him into France. We can do this, but I'm not going to waste that for now. We need to start justifying the war. Lost track of time. We're a little over it, but that's still fine. It's before the first focuses even have gone off, so that's still plenty of time. Okay, first focus done. Grab the next one. We're going to take our first Army XP, and I like to grab either infantry, the logistics, which really helps during the naval invasion itself, but infantry is always what I go first, and then the, silent workhorse for the more political power. Since we're at 100% political stability, we get additional political power, but Japan itself has a lot of debuffs that you can see to its political power, and they're not even getting one per day, so it is important to get that up as soon as possible. Okay, the last troops are coming in. Okay, let's pause this, break up the army real quick. So pull up the 15 infantry groups, they're already level 3, which is perfect. And we'll pull off the 30 of these troops. These guys are just your fillers. We'll split off another 6 of them, just so we have a 24 stack, and then the remainder. These guys, we're going to grab the Marines, put them on the infantry, the motorized, it's 18, then we'll just grab 2 tank divisions and put you up to 20. The reason why we want 20 is the first naval research for transports is plus 10, so you get 10 divisions in that. And then, since we start on Grand Battle Plan, if you have no step back, you get the Officer Corps. The middle option is here, Tip of the Spear, gives you an additional 10 for naval invasions. Also, you get bonuses for your naval invasions as well, where they last longer in the isolation of being the naval invaded. So that'll give you 20 divisions for your attack. So you want to put your best general. This guy is really good for attacking over the rivers and forts. He's got a good amount of attack. He's got a lot of logistics planning or supply consumption, and he's got planning speed. So he's the best general for your attack for your naval invasion. So he'll be the naval invasion army. And then this is mostly a cavalry division, so you can get away with putting this guy on here. He's also very good with logistics. 24 stack of infantry, you want to put your next best general for infantry, and then your last general. You can throw him on. Grab them all up and throw on a field marshal, and we will go with him because he's got more supply, reduced supply reduction. I tend to go with the other option, but for this we'll go with the reduced supply. We will now train these guys up to level 3, train these guys up to level 3, and train up our horses to level 3. Everything in here is already level 3, so we don't have to train that. This will just be the horses, which will burn infantry equipment, but we're picking that up pretty quickly. And we do lack some trains, so I'm going to do the option of, where is it? Commandeer civilian trains, which will give me 15 trains, and we are lacking a few trains. So this will give us to our 100. Okay. 50 naval XP, we can add in the Spirit of the Navy and get more naval XP for 35. And we need to train up 5 Army XP so that when we do our Army expansion law, we get 30, we need 35 for the Tip of the Spear. Okay, next one, You can go to mechanical computing for more research speed, or since we're doing an early war, radio is not a bad option. You cannot be wrong in either of those. Radio would be the better option for a short-term game because you want the extra reinforce rate that you will need for the attack, but you're fine either way. I'm gonna go with the Army Infantry Expert with my first 100. I haven't been doing this. Okay. You want to make sure that you're getting these done as quickly as possible because you want that second spy. I have been slacking on that. We'll just go with that to say the least. Normally by now you'd be done. Or just about done. Let's get the war economy going. We're about to hit 100. And then still get the infantry, which will help with the ticking army XP. Don't worry about the fuel will bounce back. Especially once the fleet itself stops exercising. Okay. So now I like to go dispersed industry just because the allied air raid is going to always be taking its toll on you. This is where I will grab the radios, get those going. Setting up the fleet, getting it ready. There should be only a few more ships that need to get trained. There's the one more. Okay, they're all trained up. They should all be level 3. So now, because that's done, we'll start getting our oil back. That's a good sign that we're getting close to our war. 80 days left. So now, once you decide that we're going into an invasion of... Yeah, you want to make sure that you're doing this more optimally than I am. You want to make sure that you decide where you want to attack. So you can attack here at Dunkirk, because this port is isolated against the Belgian border. So once you attack here, the port would be considered surrounded. You can also attack Dieppe. The issue is Dieppe has 2 ports next to each other, so you're going to have a port garrison here and a port garrison here. So it's going to be a tougher invasion. So you have Dunkirk, and Cherbourg is another good invasion spot because the second you land here and here, Cherbourg is already isolated. So that's an easy spot, and then you can also stretch your invasion for these 3 tiles here. You'll throw 1 or 2 divisions attacking Cherbourg just to pin divisions, and then a couple of other divisions here. The 2 tanks that you have or you're motorized, you can put here and have them race across the tip of Brittany and cut it off, taking these ports, so that you'll get more resources into France quicker. The faster you get multiple ports, because if you only have, say, Cherbourg and these couple surrounding tiles here, you cannot transfer this entire army across, because then you'll be choking yourself with supply. If you get Cherbourg and you cut off the Brittany peninsula, getting Brest, getting these 2 ports here, you will then be able to transport your entire army over there and then crush France that way. Okay, so let us continue. So this isn't too long of a video. Construction, throw that research slot onto artillery. Okay, martial laws. So up to war economy. We have just under 50 days to the war. So this is where you will now go grab the army expansion. Grab that 30 XP. Because once the war goal finishes, you will still have 60 days afterwards. You have the war goal for 60 days, and you will be able to hold on to that for that time, so you don't have to declare it instantly. This will allow us to plan out the naval invasions of all 20 naval invasions with the army XP buff. So we're going to have 78 in a moment. We will go for the logistics to help with the invasion. Actually, no, sorry. We'll go with the army offensive. It's only 5% attack. I'd rather go for the logistics, so we'll wait. So we'll get the army just so that we can see them better, get better planning against them, better buffs. So yeah, we'll get the logistics. Concealment is also a very good option too, when you're facing Britain, because the air power that they have. Okay, so the war justification is good, and you can see that we can hold this till November 14th, so we have 2 full months to attack. We're waiting on this. Once this focus finishes, we will instantly select tip of the spear option and plan out our naval invasion. Okay, second spy. 85%. So the importance of having the spies in France is 2 things. One, if you weren't rushing France, you'd be able to get collaboration governments in there, which makes them, 1, capitulate much faster, and 2, you can then create a puppet France where all the Vichy territory, instead of it being Vichy France, it would become your France. That is more of a Germany thing, because then you get all Vichy France. Japan doesn't get the option to form Vichy France. They just automatically get all of the French territory, which is perfect. Okay, so the focus finished. We have 46 army XP. We're going to put the tip of the spear going, which will put us up to 20. So now we can take these 20 divisions. We will put the entire army on aggressive focus. And we will start planning out the invasion. And we will be attacking Normandy for the fun. And we will be doing, instead of doing one massive naval invasion option, much like the other video I posted, this does take much longer to plan out, as you see, but each of these is now only taking 7 days to do. So you'll have simultaneously 20 divisions firing off in a naval invasion after 7 days, instead of having a 7 times 20, which is what, 140-day planned naval invasion, almost as long as the entire start of this game. So this is the correct way to plan out a naval invasion. Okay, almost set up. Send the Marines to Cherbourg as well. We'll send these motorized tanks down here to push across the peninsula. Okay, So these are now planned. And you can see that we have only 7 days for each of them. It's going to take the convoys, so we'll hit that. So the second it gets planned, we'll go. Now we have a massive surface fleet, and we'll put it out like that onto naval invasion escort. Once the war is declared, it can potentially be contested, but the Japanese Navy rivals the French Navy, so they should be fine. We don't need to send in our subs, but if we do, we will. Okay, so let's start putting all these divisions in a place where they can get ready to immediately join France if need be. So let's let this go for those 7 days. As you can see, all 20 of them are planning for 7 days instead of one massive 140-day operation. And there we go. So now they can all fire. We just need to accept the war goal, and they will all invade here. So we shall do that. Let us see, 17 days on the spy, so we won't worry about that. So let's accept. We will declare war, and we will slow the game down. Okay, let's send the Air Force up. We will bomb their logistics in northern France over Paris. Most of our planes don't have the length to reach out there, but those who will. So this is where it gets annoying, because we did train up our Navy. We don't have that much fuel for this prolonged period of time. So you can choose to train up the Navy to make them stronger if they get engaged in the English Channel, or you can choose to save all that fuel for the air war. I personally prefer to train up the Navy to make sure that this naval invasion goes off perfectly without being fought. Let's see, our Navy is bigger than theirs, 87% from that 100% it was at. So we'll send the invasion in now. The divisions are going. They're being escorted by our surface fleet. We actually have to turn off the Air Force. We are about to run out of fuel. So we'll ground that until we can. I don't like importing right now, so we'll grab iron from them, and we'll grab the fuel from Soviet Union because they are close. Yeah, grab from the Soviet Union, as weird as that sounds. And we'll grab 6. And that will... Okay, so yeah, our fleet I have to send back to port, so we're sending these guys in undefended. You would really prefer not to do that, but unfortunately that is where we are stuck because I did not manage the fuel properly. Which means the second our motorized and our tanks hit. Okay. So I paused the game, our troops are about to land. We will do a force attack, which is going to take 57 command power. So, the important part here is the force attack because you can see they're struggling breaking, especially Cherbourg. If you do this all at once, it's going to cost you 57, but the really cheesy way of getting around this is you take all but one division off, and you do it with one force attack. It is now only 3 command power. So you hit it, took 3 command power away, you put them all back on, still only cost 3, but they now all have force attack. You do not have to do this because you have enough command power as Japan to do a successful naval invasion, and you won't have to worry about it. But this is a very good thing to do if you are playing a minor nation with low war support and your command power comes back very, very slow. The reason why you can get away with it as Japan and just keep normal force attacking is because you have such a high war support, which causes your command power to come back at a much quicker rate. As you can see here, war support makes it come back 43% faster. So now they are all about to land. and you can see it's now changing green bubbles here. Okay, this is going to stop that guy from advancing onto here, and we are going to advance inland. We're going to take those guys there, and then the one division that's holding will now attack here. These guys are going to do the same thing once they land in. Oh, we caught a division on the move to Cherbourg. Perfect. So we're going to put these guys here, those guys there, and then the other two. We'll send one to Cherbourg. Okay, so now Cherbourg is cut off. This is important. So we're going to send these guys to hold that airport. I want to get Cherbourg as fast as possible, but you can see the importance of attacking France really early. Their divisions are undersupplied. Some of them at least. Okay, we need to get this connected. We need to get Cherbourg. They're gonna be pushed in, that's fine. I need to have you guys hold here. We're gonna delete all these orders just because it gets a little messy. This will make it so that, and we're gonna hold. We're fine there, we're fine there, we're fine there. These guys can hold. And hold. Because we need to get Cherbourg as quick as possible. 90. These guys, we're going to actually hold their position for now until this gets broken. We'll send them to attack that, to help break that, to connect this. Because once Cherbourg gets broken, these will then be reinforced through this land bridge. They got pushed in, that's fine, they're gonna hold here. Okay, so now this is all connected. Delete all these lines so that we don't have troops go off the board crazy. Those go here, these will hold here, those guys got that, and this got this. Everyone's gonna hold their positions. This guy's gonna hold there. Once he gets back, that's gonna be there. At 96, 97, 98, 99, and bam, Cherbourg. Okay, so that's the hard part. We have the bridgehead on. So I'm gonna hold the port just so that we don't get invaded on from behind, and I'm gonna send over the cavalry and the other tanks. We did lose one division, it's saying. That's unfortunate. That was most likely what got caught up by the subs because we lost it with the naval support. So that is unfortunate. We did lose an entire division. But now these guys are going to hold, push across. But now you can see since we have this seaport, we can successfully supply our army. I'm going to send division here. I want to get this tile as well because it's a supply depot. We can't have France holding that. So there we go, got a second port, and now this peninsula is cut off. I'm going to now call over the second battle group, which is going to be our basic garrison troops. And we are going to rush for Brest with the tanks. So now you can see the importance. We have our second port for more supply. We're pushing in for a third. Our troops are coming in, and we have our good foothold. Once these troops get here, we can then push them off of this peninsula and then push in for Paris. Hopefully we can have that by the end of the year. I'm going to speed it back up while we wait. Okay, I'm going to slow it back down now because now the troops are here. And we are just going to push with these troops. I want to get this port as well if possible. They are looking to reinforce, which is expected. And then we are pushing in here slowly but surely. Once we get this part, we can then push into Brest. The important part is just to make sure we don't lose this part of the front, because it is very easy to lose track of this side while you micro onto this side. We're going to speed it up just to get the game going quicker. They're going to keep getting pushed back and pushed back. And then we got our radio, which increases our reinforce rate, which is perfect. We're gonna then throw this onto, you can throw it onto whatever you want. Logistics is nice, maintenance is fine. I'm gonna go military police. I know it's very odd to go for military police this early, but you're gonna be owning the entire French Empire once France capitulates. So you're really gonna wanna have good garrisons because of that. And this strategy I normally use for a big blitz, so I'm going to take out France, and right before France capitulates, I'm going to declare war, or justify war on England. The plan is to have both France and the UK knocked out by mid-1937. Okay, still haven't taken that spot, that's fine, we're about to take Brest. Okay, with Brest taken, I'm going to garrison Brestport with... actually take these guys off the front, put them on here with just port. The issue is they're going to try and get to that port, I believe, but we'll find out in just a second. And we will now reinforce the entire line with those guys, use these guys as our anvils, hammer and anvil to attack. Yeah, okay, so see, they're going to try and go for the port. That's fine. So we'll actually stop that. And we will garrison the ports manually. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 ports. And we will make sure to hold on to the important ports with 2 divisions each. And then we will garrison manually the other ports with 1 division each. And then we will take our 19 divisions now, unfortunately, put them over here, and spearhead them right for Paris. Because we have Cherbourg, we have Brest. Once we take Paris, France will capitulate. And see, this is why it's very important to garrison your ports, because look what France is trying to do. They are naval invading behind my line with 3 divisions. So we're going to stop the relocation of these troops for now, because we're going to have to most likely push this naval invasion back into the sea. Perfect. So they got a foothold, that's fine. Put these guys into here to hold them. Okay, we don't want that. We want to move you guys over here and then attack. Join the anti-Comintern pact just for free XP with Germany. Get the extra research slot. Okay, and push France back. Okay, so those 3 divisions were now lost by France. That's fine. It's payback for them taking out the 1 division that I had lost. So now we will get ready to attack Paris. War artillery. All 3 of them are done. Now you can upgrade your entire industry to level 2, which is perfect. If you choose, and this is a really nice time to have the industrial, just so I can get those 3 done fast, but we're not going to do that. We are going to focus on getting that political power into the... So you have 2 options. Silent Workhorse, really good for more political power to cascade faster, and Prince of Terror is the next option because you are going to, yet again, have a very large empire that you're going to need to make sure is not rebelling against you. Okay. So here's the issue. We are overstacking this part of the front line, and France is about to attack, as you can see with their planning bonus. So we are going to give it a second and see what they do. And I'm going to throw on logistics, make our supply consumption lower. All about supply, since our supply capital is all the way over here, which is being raided by the French fleet. So our job is to capitulate France before they starve us out. We're going to actually expand the front a bit just to relieve the supply. France, you can see, is starting to amass a very large force on the border, but luckily they are very undermanned. We lost spy, that's fine. We need these spies in here for their anti-planning bonus against France. Okay, and launch, of course. Okay, so we're going to take these 10 divisions that we have on the front line, and we are going to use them to hold back the French naval invasion. They're about to push through, that's fine. They're reinforcing them. Normally I would pin, but we have our forces occupied. Okay, so they're pushing. I'm going to relocate these guys over here to get to follow through. I'm gonna pin with this guy. Push. I'm going to slow it back down because this is where we're going to want to really manually make sure our army is going straight for victory points and straight for Paris mainly. We're looking for the orange army. I want you guys to push into here real quick and pin. So they're going to pin. They're going to push. We have an opportunity to break out. Want to make sure that you are spreading out as fast as possible. I'm going to send the Marines to Dieppe. No, I don't want those guys to go there. Pin those guys there so the Marines can push into Dieppe. That army's pinned. I want them to come through and them to rush Paris. You're gonna rush Paris too. They're going the wrong way. That truck got in the way because I didn't pin it. I need to move these guys up. So now France is trying to move its troops as fast as possible in between my advancing spearhead and Paris. So what I need is these troops to get into position so I can then pin before that happens. So now that moved off this tile, which is a mistake because now I can push into this tile and attack Paris because this is being pinned. We are going to move 2 into there and pin with this one just to keep them into combat much longer because they are going to keep reinforcing that. We want to get into that tile. Perfect. And we need to get one more into Paris. Once we get into Paris, because they have the debuff of... Where is it? Disjointed government surrender limit is reduced by 50%. So this is massive debuff. Pretty much once Paris falls, I might have to take one more victory point. Just because I didn't get to Dieppe. So once that happens, we should be fine. I'm going to get ready for a full-scale offensive just to push. And I'm going to take half these guys and put them into Paris as well. So now there's troops coming off the border here. This is what the importance of pushing faster. We're going to expand the front line a bit because of the chokes. We need to push out. We need to push out here, expand the railroad line. Paris is now occupied by divisions, and as you can see, our supply is not doing well, so we need to widen the supply map. We don't have any supply depots inland. Paris would have been that. They're being pushed off of this tile. And this will widen up the supply once this tile is taken. And as you can see, the supply got a little bit better for a split second while we're pushing into Paris. We're going to reorganize the lines. We're actually going to not go directly for Paris this moment. I want to make the bottleneck a little wider, or the breach in their lines wider. So we're going to send them onto a battle plan. They're going to push, and they're going to beat back the French. By expanding the line, we are making it so that France has to move more troops away from over here, opening up Paris for us. Here comes another naval invasion. Send the reserves back. This again shows the importance of garrisoning your ports. I want this. This is normal where you can throw it wherever you want. Fighters is a good option. If you're going to go tanks, this is your point to go tanks. I'm going to throw it into fighters. We're in March. Normally I prefer to have the war done by now. Pushing to get this airport. If I can't get this airport from this side, this is definitely the better side because it's got much better supply over here than over here. We're going to do a general offensive. This is going to be bloody. Especially over here. This is the rough. You don't really want to attack over here. So I'm actually going to cancel it and let these guys stop. Manually stop those ones. I'm going to stop one of them so we don't abandon that territory. But these guys are all going to continue because they're under an initial order, but their order has been canceled by the arrow stopping. So they're just going to attack just to support this. Pin those guys for now. The supply depot. And if you notice, now Paris is only defended by the one division because they had to defend this advance. Naval invasion. France is just throwing divisions away in these naval invasions. So France has lost more divisions than I have. We lost only one division, but France is now down to in between this, and they lost more men. France can't sustain the losses that we are inflicting on them. They are trying to attack the ports. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that. It's only the two divisions though, so they're attacking those two that are guarded. We are going to now push up into a very weak armored division. Two very weak armored divisions. Send an additional infantry division in here. The importance of this tiles here is because we took the supply depot. This tile, as you can see, is the railroad that connects it all. So once we get this tile here and the 10 days, if we haven't taken Paris by then, we will have supply right up against Paris. The nice thing is now we can push into this tile here now, because it's over a smaller river and then a smaller river to come from Paris from this side instead of attacking over this wide river. We're going to actually hold off on the assault for now. We're going to wait the 7 more days for the supply. I'd very much prefer not to be waiting that much, but we are going to. Get the divisions to position. And 4, 3, 2, 1, and supply, and supply. So now our tanks, albeit undersupplied, are much better supplied than they were. Do we have trucks in stockpile? Not much. So now I'm not going to switch this up to motorized. I'm now going to put the tanks on a wider front, and they are going to push into France. I'm going to give them some attacking bonus time. I can do this staff office planner. Cherbourg attack. So let's move these guys over here. Strategic redeploy with Shift B. And kill that division. So that division's going to be killed. Staff office plan has gone, so they get the nice attacking bonus. And we will launch, which will then push them into Paris, most likely. Nope, not Paris, but everything else. And we will commit the Orange Army into the fray. They got around Paris now. Paris is about to be surrounded. Paris is now surrounded, so now they are considered encircled, and they get a massive debuff for being encircled. Doesn't say it, does not say that they are encircled, but I can tell. We'd have to click on here. Yep, there you go. Encirclement penalty. Minus 30% attack, minus 30% defense. Massive. The importance also of a naval invasion of getting the tiles around the port is then the port itself will be considered encircled. So they'll get the same debuffs. And let us get this closer, closer, closer. 97, okay. So once Paris falls, you can see that France is 49% towards capitulation. And with our armies pushing, they're going to capture another victory point. So I'm going to take this moment to now justify war on England. We're going to go for Hong Kong. The importance part of now is because we are at war with a major, so this is going to be a 10-day declaration. And since we have less than 10 days left in this war, we can do that. So we'll take Paris, and France is 100% towards capitulation. So at the second I unpause this game, France is going to capitulate. That's awkward. France capitulate before? Okay, perfect. We lucked out. Because normally, if they join the Allies and they call in the Allies, we'd be screwed. They don't normally join the Allies there. That was very interesting. The reason why they did that is because their focus. The war took too long, so they hit their focus point where they joined the Allies. Luckily, we finished it all up fast enough that we don't have to worry about them calling in the Allies. So now, you're going to want to take all, except, now this is the important part, you want to leave. It doesn't matter where. You can leave this island here, Corsica. You can choose to leave the French islands down here in the middle of the Pacific. Actually, that's you want these ones, middle of the bottom of the Indian Ocean. The reason why you want to leave one island left is because you want to puppet said island. So France gets puppeted under you, meaning you can then later on annex them for their fleet. So we're going to end turn. We're going to get all of the French Empire, which is important because the French Empire is positioned perfectly to attack the English Empire, and we have a war goal coming in a couple of days to attack them. So you can attack England from France, you can attack South Africa from the Congo or from Madagascar. You can attack the Raj from Indochina. You can attack British Malaya from Indochina. You can attack Australia and New Zealand from these French islands. You can get away with attacking Australia without losing the troops by attacking here and attacking this area here. Australia does not garrison this spot, so you can easily get the troop on here and get them off. New Zealand, I would just attack here, and if the division dies, they die. That's perfectly fine. You'll get New Zealand in the peace treaty. You can invade from here in Indochina to attack British Malaya. garrison this border with a couple of the garrison troops and just have them attack the British Raj troops, that's fine. And then, so you'll naval invade from here to this tile here into South Africa, and the troops might die, it's fine. And then this wonderfully small island that everyone forgets about, you can use to invade Canada, most likely Nova Scotia. And then once that peace deal with the United Kingdom ends, you will have the entire British Empire as claimable in the peace conference. Okay, so we'll hit done, and we are not at war anymore. As you can see, they did not get a chance to call in the Allies, and since we have the French puppet, we can see that they only have the one division. That's whatever division was not in mainland France when they capitulated. And they have a 140 ship fleet that we will eventually get to take as ours, pretty much doubling the size of our fleet. We also will get their air fleet of a very large amount of planes, or not a lot, very large, but about double the size of ours. In order to annex them, you need to lower their autonomy through the managed subjects. You can see that right here. So we need to do 1,250 autonomy points to lower their. You can trade them about 1,500 convoys should be enough to lower that down, or you can just simply build in their territory. So this island here, the best way to do it would be go to the construction tab. Okay, so you can build up infrastructure to get autonomy points. You can build up the airport, so you can get 9 airports there. Then you can also, once you get radar stations, build radar stations. You can build civilian factories, military factories. You can build dockyards. You can build whatever you want, and it will all give autonomy points or reduce the autonomy points of France. Once that 1,250 hits 0, and you have 300 political power, you can annex the remainder of France and have them as you. That is about everything for France.